Sal moved to Napanoch to restore 1,700 square foot stone colonial, which was the homestead of this Abraham Beaver. But the thing that is about this historical situation is the fact that it's gone through. It's almost like, well, according to Sal, he has seen aspirations of different men, and from the 1920s, women from the 1880s, and people who appear to be from at least up to the 1960s. So he restored this place. It was like a labor of love for him, and he just loved it. And he just, and also one thing about Sal I do want to say. It's lovely. I was talking to him earlier, and he said, tells me a lot of different stories, but he will also say, I don't know for a fact about this. So he does a lot of research on anything that's been done or what's gone on in this hotel. And I always appreciate that, because some people will say, oh, this is really happening, but it may not have. So the thing of it is, this hotel from the 1800s to the early 1900s, it was called the Shanley. It was a summer vacation destination, and it has been the resting stop on the railroad for many, and also with a lot of distinguished people like Eleanor Roosevelt. Thomas Edison stayed here. So it's gone through a lot of timelines and everything else. So Sal, bless his heart, started restoring this. God, I got to remember. I believe, well, I'll have to ask him for sure, but I believe he started, it was a while ago. It's a labor of love, and he's still continuing even from last year when I saw it. It's just lovely. So is Sal with us? Hello, Sal.
Hello,
oh, he's not here yet. Okay. Sal? Not yet?
Yes.
There you are, Sal. Hi, Sal.
How you doing, Maureen?
Well, you know where I'm at, and I know where you're. we're at your place. And this is Sal. And Sal, I'm really excited. This is my second year. But this year, I'm actually here for the Halloween event. And so when we get started, I wanted to ask you, because I forgot. I'm sorry. When did you buy this and decide you were going to go for it, restoring this lovely hotel?
I just finished doing this 1707 stone colonial, and it seemed like the Shanley Hotel was empty. It closed down in 1981. And every time I passed it, it was like screaming out to me, buy me, buy me, buy me. And I finally says, okay, I'm going to do it. And I wound up buying it. And I knew that I didn't know anything about any activity. Nobody ever said anything. And I didn't find out anything until the night after the closing. I was upstairs with a friend of mine and his wife, and we were discussing what I was going to do with the building. And we heard footsteps coming up the staircase, and we went to the kitchen door, and I turned to my friend Doug, and I said, Doug, I remember locking the door downstairs. We opened the door, and there was nothing there. We searched the whole building, and we couldn't find any break-ins or anything. And he ran out the next day and picked up a book on, I wasn't into the paranormal. Neither was he, but he ran out and bought a book on ghost hunting, and he says, we're going to start investigating. So we started investigating. We started getting a lot of stuff, a lot of EVPs. We got pictures. The spirits were just crying out to us, and it was really something.
Wow.
And then I brought in a psychic medium, and they got a lot of stuff. And then after that, I brought a paranormal team in from Binghamton, and they were blown away with what they got. And from there, it just started going. One person telling another person, and it just got bigger and bigger. And the spirits love it. I call them the good old boys and girls. They love the attention. And, as long as you're open-minded and have a positive attitude, the spirits will interact with you. If you come in with a negative energy, they'll back away from you.
Well, Sal, Sal, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I didn't know this until just now, that you did not know that this had any paranormal. Well, I guess it wasn't any issue about. You didn't decide to restore this because it was some ghostly, cool place. You had no idea, is what you're saying? Is that what I heard you say?
No, I was more into historic. That's what I did. I bought and fixed up, refurbished historic homes. Homes that were falling apart.
Right.
I would go in and redo them all and then flip them. And that's what I planned with the hotel. But what I had planned for the hotel made a complete turn. And this is it. When the spirits helped me out and I helped them out, we coexist with each other, and we work great together. Some people might not believe that, but I don't investigate anymore, and I just let people, investigate. And I have a lot of skeptics that come in skeptic and wind up leaving believers. Just personal things that happen to them. Some have seen toys move and balls move and all kinds of things. So it's really, really something. And I like to sit there and I watch I'm happy just watching the grin on their face and the excitement they get when they get activity, and that's about it. I enjoy it. And it's a great hotel. We still have a lot of work to do on it. We're refurbishing it little by little, as time goes. Like I tell people, you've seen the hotel, the outside is still rough, but, don't judge a book by its cover. When you walk inside, it's like stepping back into the 30s.
It's beautiful. It's so beautiful here, everybody. I just want to tell you, this is my second time, and I'm up in my upstairs in the boudoir room. I want to talk about a little bit of this hotel. So we have, well, listen, let me talk about this. It was like a lot of people talk about it. This is becoming very well known because the timelines in this is so fantastic that there were certain timelines that were very important in history. So it's like from the late 1800s to the early 1900s, it was the Shanley Hotel. So it was a vacation destination and a resting stop for the railroad and for the tired traveler. But it was also during the time, there's a lot of prohibition stuff that went along here, right?
Yes, the Shanley was raided a few times during Prohibition, and Mr. Shanley and John Powers were arrested by federal agents. There's been all kinds of things. The Irish Mafia was involved in the hotel. It just goes on and on. There are a lot of different eras, and a lot of famous people were involved in the hotel. Like you had mentioned, Eleanor Roosevelt, her and Mrs. Shanley became great friends. They were both into the same thing, getting women involved in social activities, card parties and dinners and stuff like that. And Thomas Edison, Gorge Tyers, Eastman Kodak, a lot of famous people had stopped into the Shanley, And matter of fact, when Mr. Roosevelt was governor and he was elected president, Mrs. Roosevelt made all the arrangements for the Shanleys to come out to Washington.
Right.
They were friends for quite a long time, until Mr. Shanley died, and then Mrs. Shanley, and so on and so forth. But there's a lot of different timelines, in the hotel.
That's what's so cool about it, because there's a lot of things going on here. Well, God, I don't want to jump around too. I don't want to be jumping around, but I would like to say there has been several owners, including yourself, which thank you, Sal, for doing what you're doing. But since then, the one who seemed to have the place, put on the map was James Lewis Shanley. Could you tell us about when he was born and where he came from?
Mr. Shanley came from Ireland. He was one of 7 brothers that came over from Ireland. And he came up to Napanoch and stood at the Shanley Hotel because of his health. And he liked the hotel so much, he wound up buying it in 1905. And he met Mrs. Shanley. And they were together for a while, and then they got married. And the town loved the Shanleys because they did everything for the people in the town. And he even went out and bought himself one of those touring cars so he could take people out in the countryside, his guests and stuff. and showed him the countryside. Mrs. Shanley was very active, and like I said, in forming card parties and dinners and stuff like that. You were able to come to the Shanley and have a Thanksgiving dinner for $1, and that's a full meal. Matter of fact, in the gentleman's quarters, he even put a bowling alley in there, one-lane bowling alley, which isn't there anymore, but it was there at one time, and that was to just bring people in and let them enjoy themselves. And it was really great. They were loved by everybody. And,
so they're a really great family.
Yes.
The whole family. So, I'm sorry, go on, Sal.
Yeah, the Shanleys were great. They, and then after the Shanleys, the Al Hazen had bought the place, and
yes.
Like I was telling you earlier, like tomorrow night we celebrate James Shanley's birthday. James Shanley and Al Hazen, they were both born on the same day on Halloween, and different years, and they both died on the same day, different years. Which I said, good thing I wasn't born on Halloween.
No, but good thing you weren't, because you'd be. Isn't that interesting? I find it real fascinating. So both these owners. So after Mrs. Shanley sold it to Al Hazen, right?
Al Hazen, right, 1947, I think it was.
So this man has the same exact birthday, which is Halloween, everybody. So Shanley and the other one. Okay, October 30th. Right? But isn't really ironic. Can you, I would like you to tell some of the things here about, because I was here last year, but some of the things about, like, for instance, when James Shanley owned it, he brought a barber with him, right, to this place.
Yes, he brought a barber up from New York City, and the barber's daughter, little Rosie, who's a spirit in the hotel, she drowned. Of course, she was just a toddler. She drowned across the street in the well, and they found her 2 hours after she went missing. And her spirit roams the hotel, and her father is still here, and he protects her. And we did a lot with, I do have people sometimes, and that try to provoke the spirits, and if anybody tries to provoke little Rosie, her father will stop it, and you'll get a loud no on your EVP, And
real protective.
Then it just stops there. You don't hear another thing from her.
In fact, I'm upstairs right now where her room was. Aren't I? And this was where the family lived. Isn't that correct? Where the Rosie and he was a barber. Her father, where I'm staying up in the Bodero.
Yes, well, the bordello, before it became a bordello, was Barbara's living quarters. And, some people ask us why we have little Rosie's room up there, and that's why we have it up there. Because we had a large group here, and there was a group out by the well trying to do EVPs to get in touch with Rosie, and it was a group up in the bordello. And the group up in the bordello got an EVP saying, why are they out there? I'm in here. And that was little Rosie's room. So we turned it back into her room. And when you go up there, there's all kinds of toys. People bring her toys and stuff.
Right.
And she loves to play with the toys. And she loves to play with people's jewelry. A lot of women wear necklaces, and I had one customer where they were doing the EVP, and her necklace didn't go side to side. It went in and out. It was like lifted off her chest and brought out and went back down again. A lot of times you get little Rosie giggling and laughing, and she's having a good old time. Usually when little Rosie's around, you'll feel your fingertips get numb. Baby, the toddler holds onto your hand, your fingers.
Yeah.
Your fingertips will get numb, or she'll pull on the side of your pants or your dress. She lets you know she's around, quite a few of the spirits are very active,
Right. She died in 1911, isn't that correct? Something like that?
Yes,
Yeah.
1911. And
So also there's so this was just where I'm upstairs. Everybody is I can't explain it. It's just so. And I stayed at the same room last time. It's called the Bordello, and the Bordello because it was I don't know what year it was. Well, we all know what a bordello would be. I feel very. It's where a lot of women would make some good money.
yeah.
Would you call them?
There was nothing wrong with those women up there. They were good
nothing
women.
Wrong with them.
They came to this country. They come over from Ireland. They came to this country for a better life, and that things don't always work out the way you plan. You know, they were just making a living. You know, there was nothing. What they did was normal. You know, so you know they shouldn't be condemned for it. And I tell that to people, and I tell people when they come to respect them.
Right.
You know, it's one thing I could tell you, Maureen, is I don't have problems telling somebody to leave the hotel.
Right.
If they disgrace, you know, if they dishonor my spirits or anything like that. If they get big into provoking and stuff, and that, I have no problem telling them the door's there and you're not welcome. You know, so
that's what's so nice. You really have some great integrity. And I'll tell you something. Last year when I was with the team, you know, it was really great. It was a little bit different. I was here the weekend before Halloween, but I was with the team investigating, and it was really nice. And I noticed how respectable the team I was with were so gracious and so full of integrity when they were, you know, I just felt so lovely. You know, it's just like I didn't know what to expect, but it was really nice. They're very respectable to whatever's going on, or talking, or trying to get information, whatever. It wasn't like you see on TV when they're you see. I know I've seen some things people are provoking.
Right.
But there's no provoking going on here. But you know, I wanted to know also about. What was I going to say? Oh, the gentlemen's quarters. I wanted to ask you, there's an area down here called the gentlemen's quarters. It's downstairs where I'm at. Well, it's downstairs where the other rooms are at too. What was that all about? Could you tell us a little bit about the history of that, Sal?
Well, the gentlemen's quarters, back in the days, women weren't allowed in the bar. You know, respectable women weren't allowed. And that was an area for the gentlemen to go in and smoke their cigars, play their cards and dice or whatever they wanted to do. And the brothel was right upstairs. All they had to do was walk upstairs to the brothel and, you know, take care of business up there, you know, whatever they wanted to do. And that's mainly what that was for. You know, Mr. Shanley wound up putting a bowling alley back there, one-lane bowling alley. And that's just where the men stood, you know, when they had matter of fact, you know, when you walk towards the back and you go through the two white curtains.
Right.
There used to be a bodyguard used to stand there and make sure that only, because there was a lot of different, this is a mill town. There was a lot of brothels in the town at that time. And this was more for, I would say, the higher class. So there was only certain people were allowed back there. You know,
right.
And that's when Mr. Shanley made sure he took care of his girls, and
respected them, the girl.
Right, he respected them. You know, like they say that, you know, they were making a living. You know, and he was very close with his girls.
And, you know, I was asking you a question about this town because it just fascinates me about now. And there's a lot of, it's just kind of sad. There's a lot of things that are, well, until, I'm not going to get political about it, but until things change. But you were talking about how Mr. Shanley, when he came out in good old, you know, I'm Irish, the good old Irish, they like to drink, but the brothers came out, or he was the last one, but they started, they were in the hotel business themselves before they came here. They were in Manhattan on 42nd Street, is that correct?
Yes, and they had a small hotel there. Back in that time, 42nd Street was a slum area. They had opened up a hotel there. They brought the area back up. And a lot of new businesses started moving in there. Matter of fact, they did so good, they built a hotel across the street from the hotel that they had and moved into that one. And when they built that, I think it was either 7 or 11 stories, and the whole top floor was the gentleman's quarters. The dining room had gigantic chandeliers, crystal chandeliers. It sat 2,000 people. And matter of fact, there's a joke in the family that one night they had a fire there. A fire broke out in the hotel somewhere, I guess in the kitchen or something. And the Shanley brothers made the band play "It's a Hot Time in Town Tonight" as they escorted people out of the hotel. You know, and it's pretty cool. They were a good bunch of guys. You know, they were Irish. You know, they were fun guys. They were into drinking and gambling and very happy-go-lucky people. You know, and it's a shame that when the stock market crashed, they went belly up. You know, but a lot of people did back then.
It sounds like a pretty intense thing. I mean, what's smart? Well, you know, I'm Irish, so I can identify with those smart Irish. but you know, I was looking at some. When you walk into this place, you guys, it is so. You just don't. I mean, you walk in. I don't know how to explain it. Sal, how can you explain? You walk in, it's like it feels. You can't tell so much from the outside. You walk in, and it's just so. I think it's such a warm feeling, and it's so cool. The what you've done, the just the whole time period and the decor and everything is just, it's really authentic.
Yes, and when you walk through the door, the spirits welcome you, and everybody tells me that they feel completely different. It's just like they're at home, you know. And I have a lot of teams and people that come back time after time, and when they call me, they tell me I either have a Shanley withdrawal or I'm coming home. You know, and they come back.
You know, this is the thing that's so great about the Shanley, and I was noticing you had, and this I don't know if this is the first time, but I thought, you know, how cool, and I read a great review on it, but 16, you know, of Sweet 16, everybody hears about, you know, people want to do these cool parties. You had a Sweet 16 party over here, right, recently?
Yes, I think it was last month or so, a month and a half ago. I had a gentleman call me and booked it for his daughter's Sweet 16. The girls had a blast. They got a lot of activity, and it was the first time they ever done anything like this before. And he wrote a great review on TripAdvisor for me, you know, the experience that they had, you know, and it just goes on and on. You know, it's Sweet 16 parties. I just had a call recently again for somebody else wants to do a Sweet 16.
I think that is such a great thing. You wouldn't think, and good for the father. But so did they do a whole investigation, or what? Was it just for them to spend the night and kind of get, you know, kind of cool? Did they go?
Right. You know, as a matter of fact, that night, I have investigators that take them out, you know, and they show them how to use equipment and stuff like that to do EVP session with them. And
what a cool thing.
Cool.
I mean, what a memorable thing that, because usually, you know, the Sweet 16 you hear about them, they're just not like that. I think that's a really cool, I mean, if my daughter was 16, I think I would think about doing that, because the hotel's so, I mean, it's so, the rooms, everybody is so, they're so, all of them are just different, and it's just so, I just love it. I just can't explain anything more about it. But we're going to be doing I want to talk about a little bit more after, we'll probably do a break pretty soon, but a little bit more about the third floor. But before we do, tomorrow night is Halloween. So we're going to do a big celebration for the, you know, the owners. So the Shanley and Al Hazen. Did I say it right? Al Hazen? Is that right? Al Hazen?
Al Hazen, right. James Shanley, Al Hazen.
Yeah, so because
both owners.
We're going to have a big old party for them, because why not? It should be pretty active. We got this whole weekend is sold out. I mean, it's very sold out from what I understand. But
yes.
So we're going to be doing a big party tomorrow night, and I just am so looking forward to that, because this is the first year I've been here at a Halloween, and to have those two energies of those owners, and also the following night, Saturday night, we're doing I know there's a name for it. I didn't find out yet, but we are dressing up in 20s attire, 1920s. Even though this hotel spans a lot of time frame, which is really cool, but it's not like a masquerade party. It's almost like Mary was explaining it to me. If anybody does, Mary's very involved with the Shanley. We've had her on as a guest before, but she was saying it's almost like if you dress in this time period, it would, if you know, anybody can entertain us. I'm not saying I believe in everything, but all I know is what I know. But if you dress, you know how those movies will all of a sudden take you into that same time, and you open your eyes and we're in the 1920s. So who knows? Who knows?
Sparrow and Mark Sarah are great people, and I'm glad that I got a great team this time. With Para Co-op and PsychicAccess.com together is great. And it's going to be a great time.
Yeah, PsychicAccess.com. Now we're going to get everybody out. In fact, I feel also Stephen will be joining us, I believe, tomorrow night on they'll be on Skype, putting out their energies and feeling things. Steve, which I'm talking about the other host. I don't know if Sal, we have 4 hosts on here. And Marie can't join us, but Stephen will be, and Steve's a medium. And Stephen is quite, what's the word I'm looking for? God, it's a great word. Vivacious. Really, energy is real vivacious. And Steve's a medium, so that should be a lot of fun.
Yes.
I wanted to ask you, how you have certain rooms upstairs for your guests, right? Could you tell us the name of the rooms and why you got to the names? I'm just so everybody can hear the certain names. I think they're kind of cool. On the second floor.
The room?
The rooms on the second floor.
The rooms?
You name them.
On the second floor, you have the blue room, which was Eleanor Roosevelt. She used to stay there. You have John Powers' room. He was the one that was arrested during Prohibition with Jane Shanley. Then you have the Rose room, who she was a young lady that used to travel the world. She was very wealthy, and she used to love to come to the Shanley to write her memoirs and stuff. So we had that. Then we have the silent room, which during the early 1900s, when people got sick in the hotel, they used that as a hospital room. And when Al Hazen had owned it, he wasn't allowed, if he had some drinks, his wife didn't allow him home. He had to come home sober. So he would sleep it off in that room. And a lot, everybody would say, Al's sleeping, so we named it the silent room. Then we have Marguerite's room, which was, she was a niece of the Shanleys, of James Shanley. And she had a gentleman that used to follow her all the time, was really obsessed with her. And things happen in that room, it's something else, sometimes people feel spirits falling into bed with them, beds vibrating, all kinds of things, you never know what's going to happen in that room,
Sounds pretty cool. Well, we're going to take a short break from our sponsor, PsychicAccess.com, but we'll be right back with Sal, and we're talking live on site at the Shanley Hotel.
A new era in psychic services has begun. PsychicAccess.com. You can connect with our psychic advisors by telephone or chat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. All of our psychic advisors are interviewed, fully verified, and accuracy tested, assuring you quality service. We're living in some very troubled times right now. More and more, the world's problems are affecting us on a personal level. You don't have to deal with this alone. Our highly accurate psychics, caring advisors, and talented mediums can help with situations you are currently experiencing and can let you know what the future may hold for you. All new customers get a free 6-minute reading. All you have to do is register. Why not visit us now and get a free reading at PsychicAccess.com.
Okay, and we're back, and with the Shanley Hotel. I'm already getting the spirits because I'm in my cool room upstairs. But you know what? Stephen has a really great. Stephen, go for it. I'd love to hear more about that myself.
Sure. I I wanted to ask specifically, I know that you guys did an Irish wake perhaps to appease some of the spirits. And, I'm curious to understand how that Irish wake affected the spirit activity, whether it diminished it or increased it, etc. I'm curious to know what happened.
No, they were very active that night. They were very pleasant, and they were happy that we were honoring them, because a lot of the spirits really weren't honored. Some of them died different deaths, and we had a great communication that night with the spirits. They were very happy in what we did and honored, and they let us know that.
Well, now these spirits are, do we know how many they are? I know you talked about certain personages, young Rose, for example. But if I'm correct about the history of the Shanley, there was also there was also a criminal element there. Would you say that some of perhaps mobsters or Prohibition era criminals, maybe lower level capos and thugs, etc.? Do you think perhaps maybe?
No, well, we have Joe on the third floor, who was a hitman back in his days. He was part of the mob. He was a private contractor. He did his own thing. He's not an evil spirit. He's a grumpy spirit. He mellowed out a lot. It just goes on. There's different levels, different eras of spirits. We have Jonathan, the little boy on the third floor. He makes himself known all the time. Either the ball that he has up in his room will start rolling around, or the toys start making noise and stuff. We had caught. I had a gentleman here that worked for the Daily News. His name was Steve, and he had caught the cat. I had a cat for 13 years that died, and it was maybe a little longer than that. And I was telling him about the cat, and he had his camera set up, and he called me a week and a half later, and he told me, "You'll never believe what I have." And Steve was a diehard skeptic, and he says, "I'm sending it over to you now." And he got the Shanley Hotel ghost cat, and people can see that on YouTube. Just punch in Shanley Hotel ghost cat, and it'll come up. Matter of fact,
we have that on the homepage, everybody. I think that's one of the videos that are on the show page about the cat.
Right. So there's a lot of different things, a lot of different spirits. I just put out the other night on Facebook, one of the first pictures that we got, and that was with a young lady that was here from Gettysburg, and she was downstairs, and I have books downstairs because we do a lot of research on everything. And on all the people, the spirits and stuff that went on in the hotel over time. And she was there, and she was just glancing through the book, and her husband was walking behind, and he snapped a picture, and we got a picture of her and Caroline. And this young lady from Gettysburg is looking down at the book. Caroline is looking to her right. You can see her. You can see her whole face. You can see her nose, her eyebrows, her lips, jet black hair, and we got some pictures that'll really blow you away, and this is the hotel. I don't investigate anymore. I did in the beginning, and I don't because I know what's here, and.
You got some fascinating photos, I've noticed. And I remember when I was here last year, we were looking at these absolutely great photos of people. I don't know what the time frame was, but it seems like there was a lot. You have to. Stephen was talking about the mobsters or people like that, because the Prohibition brought a lot of that. But it seems like there were a lot of people that were just kind of fused well together, whether they were Italian, Irish. You had to.
There were so many different eras. You had the time when mobsters were big, back in the 30s and 40s, in the 20s rather, 20s and 30s, and mob activity was very big upstate New York. They controlled a lot of everything that went on up here, and they were the Irish mob was part of the Shanley Hotel, and a lot of different things happened. I talk to local people, and this is my biggest complaint. I talk to local people, and they tell me there's things I can tell you, but I can't say. And that drives me crazy. And I still have people when you sit out on the porch, when they come to the hotel, they cross the street, or they walk out in the street and pass the hotel, and then walk back on the sidewalk after they pass the hotel. People know a lot of things about the hotel, and a lot of people don't say anything. Just like when I bought it, nobody told me anything about the hotel.
Yeah, I think that's fascinating. I didn't know that, which I think is absolutely fascinating. So it's like it was calling after you, though. Think about it, because things are going really.
It's calling out, buy me, and that's what I did.
And it has been a lot of work, hasn't it, restoring this?
Yes. When I bought the place, it was a complete shamble. It closed down in 1991. I bought it in 2005. Within that time period, there was one or two different owners, and one owner, whatever he can rip out of it, he ripped out of it and sold. And so when I bought it, it was a complete mess. And we had to jack up the building from the inside. One side we jacked up 6 inches, the other side 4 inches, but the whole building had to be jacked up, and it's a 3-story building.
Wow.
So they've done a lot of work, all new electric and everything else, and we're still working on it. And I make great people, like Mary, Gasparo, and Mark, and
Mary's in the chat room, by the way. She's in the chat room.
Just great people, and it's really good, Well, all the people that I have met, that walk through these doors are fantastic, Like any other business, you have that 0.5% you wish never walked through your door, that they're coming rating negative and stuff like that, but it's really great, and
it's really great when you said something to us earlier outside, which I thought was so lovely. You said it earlier, but you said like everybody comes in the door, even though you said this is you go with the Shanley. You're all part of the family.
Yes, we welcome everybody. Once you walk in the door, we consider you part of the Shanley family. Just kick off your shoes, have a good time, relax, and that's what it's all about. Don't pressure yourself that you're going to see something, and they'll show themselves to you. They'll make themselves known. They'll touch you, they'll poke you in the back, they'll pull your hair. When I say pull your hair, I mean you can feel your hair moving. They just give you a light hug. You're in bed, they might shake the bed. And if you're nervous, they're going to play with your head.
Yeah. But nobody's been ever. I mean, when I was here, I had the best. I have a hard time sleeping, and when I was here last year, I had the best snore, the best snoring of my life. No, I had the best rest of my life. I mean, I had the best rest that I had in months.
Yes, a lot of people tell me that the best night's sleep they got. The spirits will leave you alone. Once you get to bed, they'll leave you alone. It's very rare that they might, like I say, if you're nervous and stuff like that, they'll play with your head. They might yank the covers off you or shake the bed a little. Just get you there. But
harmless. It's just kind of fun. It's almost like kind of tender things.
Yes, yes. I call them the good old boys and girls, and nothing ever bad ever happens in a hotel. They're all friendly spirits. There's nothing evil in the hotel, and if something goes wrong in a hotel, they let me know. My left ear starts ringing real loud, and I know there's something's wrong in the hotel, and then I'll start checking it out. And that's when we usually find somebody playing with a Ouija board, which we don't allow in the hotel, or doing something that they shouldn't be doing, like provoking, so we coexist with each other, they take care of me and I take care of them, so we watch out for each other.
So, Sal, how does the community feel about what's going on over here? And I mean, I know you're very active in the community. Is everybody in this town like, whether they believe it or not believe, are you really well?
people, I have people that come and, they'll tell me, then they'll start telling me experiences that they had in the hotel when the bar was open, and things that they seen. I had the school bus driver before I opened used to tell me that when she used to pick up the kids across the street with the bus, she would always see an old lady looking out the window. Teresa, my better half, had taken, we tell everybody, go outside, take pictures of the outside of the building and everything else. You never know what you're going to get. Teresa had caught a picture of a little boy looking out a third floor window, which is my storage room, and that has a padlock on it. And it's all different things. You never know what you're going to get, but they'll give you something, and another big thing is batteries. You come into the hotel, the batteries drain fast on your cell phones, your cameras, your equipment, and they're amazing. They draw that energy up that stuff, and you never know what you're going to get in the hotel.
But you're certainly not going to get mugged.
A lot of times the cameras are shut off, automatically shut off, and you have problems turning them back on again because they don't want to give no pictures or something, You
were talking to me about back in the day when you just go over before all this high-tech equipment and everything else, was around. That you would just people would go upstairs with a little, what do you call it, little recorder.
That's it. When we first started investigating, we didn't have the spirit box and we didn't have the obelisks and all that stuff. And we just went in and you would go into a room and you just shut the door and you're sitting there and you ask questions and try to talk to the spirits and see if you get something, And then you go on to the next room and so on and so forth, Today it's a lot easier with the spirit box, and which is considered really white noise. And you get a quick response. Same thing with flashlights. A lot of people don't believe, about the flashlights. They say it's the
since you don't do investigations anymore. I know, because you're doing your own thing. Do you get blown away when? And Sal, one thing I love about you, like when I've spoken to you before, even last year, you would always say, this is a story I heard, but I don't know, I can't back it up for fact. Because you'd always say you love doing research on the hotel or the people that came through, but. So you're pretty much the way I look at it, like I am. I'm pretty open to things. So when people would say, "My God," because you don't go on investigations, are you blown away sometimes about what you've heard, about what people found, or you hear, or?
No.
Nothing surprises you.
Like I tell people, when they come in the hotel, if they can debunk something, debunk it. I have no problem with that. There's nothing wrong with investigating this. Like I said, the spirits are all friendly spirits. There's nothing in here that's going to hurt you. So they will communicate with you. One way or another they will. So I wouldn't worry about that. I never had anybody leave the hotel that had a problem or anything. And a lot of people feel that spirits follow you. They don't follow you. They're happy here and they stay here. And I think, I had one person tell me once that I hold spirits here because to make money off them. No. You tell me how you can hold a spirit in one place. They have free will. They come and go. When, like I had told you earlier, I had a near-death experience back in '94, and I know what's on the other side. So, and there is life after death. And I had...
Are you going to be hanging out here, Sal? Do you think?
No,
do you think you're going to be hanging out here after? I always tell people have a nice afterlife. I see it in a nice way. But do you see yourself?
I don't know. I might be wandering the hotel. Who knows?
That should be lovely.
You never know.
Well, I see that you're going to be here a long time. You're probably going to be the owner to the end. Come on. Doesn't it seem that way to you? Because there's always something. Isn't it always something kind of you'll never get bored here?
No, that's one thing. You never get bored.
And you meet all these great people. Some maybe not so great, and they can go away. But I mean, but also you meet, and it's like it is a family feeling, which is we've lost in our world so much. But also some of the people that have gone onto the other side, they're part of the family too.
Yes. No, I had two women. Both of them died of cancer. But before they died, they came back to me and they told me, Sal, I'm not afraid of dying anymore because I know there's life after death. Or the experiences that they got in the hotel, and that made me feel good. And I think that was my near-death experience. I think that was my sole purpose, to do this, what I'm doing now, and it took me many years until I got to this spot, and I got great people, like I say, with Paraco with Mary Gasparo and Mark Lucero, and now with Psychic Assets.com with Doug and you, it's really great. I'm really honored. Like always, and Mary always does a fantastic job in all her events that she does when she comes here. She always packs house. So.
Well, Mary, I do want to bring up one point, everybody. Mary I think it's Saturday night. She's going to be the madame, the madam. Not madame. The madam for, well, whatever. She's okay that I mentioned it, and take it for what it's worth. She's the head madam for all the people that were, well, I'm not dressing up like anything else.
She's fantastic.
I'd like to say on YouTube, there's some fantastic, anybody listening, go to YouTube and put in the Shanley Hotel. You will find, and Sal, you're in a lot of these too, there's these YouTube videos, but there's so much great, really well made, actually, videos of the history and things and people investigating. And it was blowing me away. I was looking at a lot of, I didn't realize how much.
Yes, Maureen, if they go to my webpage, ShanleyHotel.com,
you're right.
Scroll down, you'll see my picture, see where it says Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Just hit the button YouTube, and everything comes up on there.
That's easy enough. Yeah, and we do on the listing on the guest page also, which has the link to your site, ShanleyHotel.com. That is an easier way of looking at it. Everybody can remember that. Also, I do want to bring up that for every night, we're going to be doing, everybody can watch this live. So that means they can watch me in action, Mary, all the other people this place is going to be booked, and watching investigations. It's really entertaining. I know last year when I was here, Doug watched. He was lovely. He watched everything. I was here, but you can see that I didn't put the link up, but you can see it live. You can watch it at www.livestream.com ITC Lounge, I believe. Yeah.
Right.
ITC
or they
Lounge.
can just go to my webpage and they can get the link right off there.
Oh, you can.
Mary and Mark do a fantastic job with that.
So that link. So if you go to Shanley, the Shanley.com, you can find that link and click on. You can see where you can go to watch it live. What's going on over here? What are we up to? We're going to have a lot of fun. So are you going to be dressing up into the 20s gangsta on Saturday?
I always did. That's my theme, gangsta. I'm from Brooklyn.
So you are going to be dressed up, sir. I can't wait. That's going to be so much fun. I can't wait for the whole weekend. So
we're going to have a blast. We're going to have a blast.
We're going to have a blast. And all I know is I hope it snows. I'm just saying. I'm sorry.
No, don't say that. I don't want no snow.
I'm in California. This is the first time I'm doing a live show where I'm on site, and it's just nobody's here yet. It's kind of cool, everybody. It's really neat. I'm going to take a lot of pictures, and anybody that knows me on Facebook, I'll be posting them. So I'm really looking forward to it. So I really appreciate you taking the time out, Sal, to be, looking at my face all day long too before anybody else shows up. You've been lovely, and talking to you.
It's an honor to be on your show.
It's been really nice,
and that's from the heart.
Yeah, and you know what? I'm really thank you for embracing this place many years ago, because you really I've made a difference to, I'm sure, a lot of people. And like I said, whether, this is stuff, it's the only second time or so I've been on. It's just, it is a family feeling. It's lovely. It's really cool. It's really nice. So,
I thank you
will
very
say
much. I really do.
my goodbyes to you, Sal, and you can go about doing what you do, and I will see you probably as you're doing it because I'm here with you.
Yes.
So everybody, this is Sal, and thank you. And everybody, hopefully, go to the website. He's also guest pages on there, and you can click on, like you said, all the links to the ITC Lounge. You can watch it live. 24. I think it goes 24 hours. They're going to be running it. I'm pretty sure. So it's kind of neat. It's very entertaining. And so there you have it. So thank you, Sal, so much.
Anytime. I thank you very much. Like I said, I'm honored to be on the show.
Well, thank you, and I will see you pretty soon downstairs, I'm sure.
Yes, I'll be down.
Okay. Well, thanks,
Sal.
Good
Have
night.
a great night.
Good night. Thank
bye-bye.
you.
Hello, my name is Res Miranda. If you're having relationship, career, or life issues, I'm inviting you to experience what it's like to have access to professional, highly accurate psychics and spiritual advisors you can trust to care and help you. Register now to get your free 6-minute reading by telephone or chat. Get answers. Get access. Psychic access. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. PsychicAccess.com.